right. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Four Bros podcast. I believe, correct me if I am wrong. I might be wrong. I may be correct. I don't know. I think this is episode 11 of our podcast. We cracked the double digits last episode, and we are now episode 11. So, congratulations if you made it this far. Shout out to you if you've listened to every single episode. You are a real one. Yes, me and Bryan are wearing the same hat. Get over yourself. Bryan or Matt, excuse me, is not wearing the same hat. That's just because he's not as cool as me and Bryan. But that's nor here nor there. But we are so glad you're here for another episode of the Four Bros podcast. As you can tell, Andy is not here with us, but we hope to have him back in the next episode. Andy, love you, miss you. But we have a great episode lined up, and we are looking forward to it. We told you a couple episodes back that we would be getting into some church league softball talk, and that's what we want to jump into first. This is something that ever since I've lived here in Cairo, I've been playing church league softball with the different churches that I've been with. Bryan and Andy have been playing church league softball in this area for probably 20 plus years. That probably slightly shows their age. And then Matt has also been playing some church league softball and some softball in general, whether it's here or back in Alabama. But this year and last year, we've all collectively been on one team. My church does not have a softball team, nor does Matt's, but Bryan's church does. And so we have joined alliances with Bryan and Andy and played on their church league softball team. So last year was a very successful year, and we're able to win the regular season championship and the tournament championship. The one that I think is what everybody really goes after is the end of the year tournament. So we were fortunate enough to come home with both of those trophies and super excited. And so this year was a whole different year going into it. I would say for our off season, I think this year already out the gate has really shown our age. Had a lot of guys have surgeries in the off season. I'm talking like we have like a real organization, but you guys have to remember this is church league softball. But had some guys get injured, had some guys have surgery, had some guys play injured in our first games of the season. But again, I think that's more so our age than it is our physical abilities or lack thereof. But
Yeah.
anyways, we played our first games. We play on Monday nights, and so we played our first games this past Monday night and had two games, and we split. We went 1-1, and it's not the start that we wanted, but it's the start that we did get, and started off really hot in the first game. Everybody was hitting the ball well. Defense was clicking on all cylinders. Won a big game there, and then got to the second game. Bats went completely dead. Nothing there. Could not hit the ball, could not score any runs. And when you only score 7 runs in a slow pitch softball game, that is not good. That is no bueno. So I think we wasted all of our good hits in the first game. But again, some of us, I know for me, that was my first time picking up a softball in literally a year. So it was a good way to knock the rust off, though. So, but got a long season ahead. I think we'll play until the end of August, and then again have our end of the year tournament. But I think I thought it was a good little start. I'm interested. Bryan is our capitan. He is the head coach. He is the main guy. From a playing perspective, but then also from the leader perspective. What were your thoughts on the first night of the opening day church league softball?
Man, going into it, we kind of knew what we were up against a little bit with some injuries. To the point that I actually physically made 4 different lineups going into the game, preparing for something to happen. It's just where we are. We have been playing softball for a long time. It's just not as easy as it used to be. You get out there and, ideally you would think a month, 6 weeks out, we would start really ramping up and getting ready. We don't have time to do that. We went out and hit a couple of times just trying to get loose. And one thing that I took away from it, and this is what I love about church league softball like it is this year, because I've seen so many different types of years out here at our recreation department. There have been those years where there's one team that is just, heads and heels better than everybody else.
Mhm.
That's no fun. I mean, everybody's going out there and getting run ruled and sent to the house. And this year, the team we played in the second game very much improved uh, over last year, and a lot of young guys on the team, and that's good to see, though, man, because that was
Yeah.
us 20 years ago,
Yeah.
and playing against the older guys, and the older guys would just wear us out, and but then we started closing that gap on them, and I think that's what we're feeling a little bit. It's exciting for me because it's gonna cause us to step up and wake up a little bit, but we've only got 5 teams this year. I think everybody has the ability to be in the mix. I don't see any one team that is just way far out in front of another. Now, I may be proven wrong once we get on the field with them, but I think it's going to be a really strong league. I think it's going to be fun, and I think it's going to be a good tournament at the end. But good first night. The second game was weird. You said that the bats kind of went cold. Man, we hit a lot of hard balls in that second game that were just hit
Mhm.
right at people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there are just nights that happens. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
you play a 7 inning men's league softball game. I mean, you got 21 outs.
Mhm.
You line off 10 or 12 balls. I mean, you're over halfway there, buddy. And I mean, those
Yeah.
Yeah.
those may be base hits on another night. So, we can't be
Yeah.
too hard on ourselves. I
Yeah.
was really happy, and it was fun to get back out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Matt, what was your perspective? And you were one too that we talk about injuries. About halfway through, you were. I mean, again, I think that was just us showing our age. But I mean, how are you feeling? And what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I was great. We've talked before about just kind of the back issue that I have, but back was fine. Well, a little bit of running I've done. Running everything else. My feet, my ankles felt good. Because like I told y'all, I got home that night and ended up riding 5 miles on the exercise bike. Um, just because I knew I still needed to kind of get it in for the day.
Hmm.
For me, the injury that I had, it's an injury that I've had ever since I quit baseball my senior year of high school, where I was on the pitcher mound. I told my coach that my arm was just kind of hurting that day, and he came out and did. To this day, and I know that's what it was, but he kind of snapped my arm as if he thought my shoulder was kind of like out of socket or something. I don't know. He kind of popped my arm like a towel. Ever since then, like when I try to throw a ball of any kind, even a football or whatever, I just had this sharp shooting pain through my elbow. Um,
Mm.
and so a lot of times it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't hurt as bad. Sometimes I can get ibuprofen in me, and enough time, I guess, to where it doesn't surface as bad. And I guess Monday night I just didn't do it. And even something as simple as playing catcher and just trying to get the ball out to the pitcher, like it just hurts, man. It hurts like really in a strange way, but it's good. I guess the ibuprofen kind of finally kicked in when I got home, and so that was just kind of went away. So we'd try to stay ahead of that, but that is again another thing of just showing your age. But I thought it was good. I mean, first game we ended up winning that first game. What 20
20-4. Yeah.
20-4
20,
was it right?
Yeah.
no,
No. It was
23
like
to it's
Oh, it
23
was
to
23.
24.
5.
They either had 5 or
23-5.
6
Okay.
points.
One,
Yeah.
Yeah.
When that game happened, I was like, oh boy, even in spite of some of the injuries, I was like, this is going to be a fun season. And then we get into that
yeah.
second game, and it was like, oh wow, okay, it's going to be one of those seasons. But still, a lot of fun, man. I mean, yeah, you're playing against that particular team. Had a lot of high school guys and things like that who are great athletes of their own. They have definitely improved, and I think for us, what it kind of showed was,
Lots of
it,
speed. Lots of
yeah.
A lot
speed.
of speed. A lot of
We've
speed.
got to, we've got to just kind of buckle down and not kind of get in our own heads. I think that was kind of one of the big things also in the second game was we were, getting frustrated and things like that. And just trying to settle down. It's hard when you're competitive. It's hard to find that line of saying, okay, calm back down, buckle back down. Let's play the game that we know how to play. Let's play it right. Let's do what we got to do.
Mhm.
Which kind of, we were talking about this earlier. It's a question that I have for you two guys. Speaking of competitive, because we're all competitive, and if AJ was here, he would be no different. We're all competitive. We all like to win, of course, everything that we do. It doesn't matter what it is. I want to beat you in whatever we're doing. Um, the question I have, though, and just something I've kind of just thought about over the past couple of days is, in looking at things, especially as Christians, as pastors, but specifically as Christians in general, when you're looking at sports and you're looking at this idea of being competitive, something that I often struggle with. So that's where this question comes from, is even for myself. I've tried to really be, hard on myself here lately, where I try not to get that side of me where I get so competitive that like nothing is fun anymore. So the question I have is how far is too far of this idea of being competitive? Like where's that line at for you guys?
You first.
Go for it. No, go for it. Go for it.
So, Matt, I mean, first off, it's a great question, and I think depending on the person, each individual kind of has um, that measuring stick that answers that question. I certainly have had to tone it down over the years. Back in the beginning when I'm just a player out there on the team, I mean, we were pretty cutthroat. We would get a little chippy, maybe run our mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
And as you get older, you start to respect the game, you respect the people a little bit more, but you also, I mean, just like y'all are, I mean, I'm a pastor now. I mean, we got a lot of folks out there in the stands that I represent. You know what I'm saying? And
That's right.
every move I make, and I'll give you a perfect example that happened the other night. So my dad umpires out there, and there was a call that he had to make that I was involved in. And I'm telling you, man, every competitive bone in my body wanted to. I mean, it was, and he and I have talked. I mean, he was confused. The home plate guy was confused. It was just, it is what it is. It's a missed call.
That's
Missed
right.
calls happen, especially when you're talking about people that, I mean, they're getting paid, but they're literally taken away from time they could be home with their family, and
Yeah.
they're out there, doing this so we can have a league. So super appreciative. But I went up to him between innings and we were having it. He actually came over to me because I wasn't going to engage him about it, but he came over and asked me. He was like, "What?" Basically asked me what I was worried about, or not arguing, but what was I objecting to?
What you mad
And I
about?
said, "Daddy," I said it was a force play. And he looked at me and he was like, "Well, that's the whole reason I went and checked it at home plate." He said, "Because I said the tag, I said you missed the tag, but then I realized after the fact that wait a minute, that was a force play. So I went and checked with the home plate guy, and all the home plate guy said was, yeah, he didn't get him with the tag." And I was like, the tag is irrelevant. Like, but
That's
anyway,
right.
what I told my dad, I said, Daddy, I said, good and well, I'm not fixing to try to show you up out here or disrespect you like that. Now, I say that to say that just, I guess, kind of explains I am
Yeah.
uber competitive, but it ain't important enough for me to jump on my daddy,
That's right.
about a bad
That's right.
call or a missed call.
Yeah.
So,
That's right.
I mean, we have to remember that this is church league softball, and as much as it
Yeah.
matters to us, it don't matter to very many people.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, I agree. I kind of, I think the question on like how competitive and how far is too far, like Ryan said, I think it depends really on the context in which you're in, right? I'd like to say that I'm probably the most competitive, person in the world, and I come from a line of super competitive people, and living in a house, being the oldest of three boys, there was always a competition: football, baseball, basketball, whatever it was. And but baseball was always competitive, and one thing that really gets me, and I really have to check myself now, especially not just as a person, but as a pastor too, was I live and died by smack talk. Like, you may be better than me at what we were doing, but I was really good at getting in your head and bringing you down to my level.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden, now I have the upper hand.
That's pretty low. Oh, sorry.
And yeah,
Stature
and what
height.
you should have and what you should be able to beat me at easily now is something competitive
Yeah.
because I've brought you down and a lot of people, and this is something I've always struggled with too, just to add on to the question. I think a lot of people take over competitiveness as a sense of arrogance, and
Hmm.
I don't look at it that way.
Yeah.
I look at it as, I can't stand to lose. I don't like to, and there's a lot of people in this world who are totally okay with losing from time to time. That boils my blood. I don't like it, and I've had to learn over the years
Hmm.
to, I guess, like filter my emotions better when it comes to losing, because now, as a dad, there's teaching moments in that, when kids
Hmm.
lose at something or whatever. But inside, like, and this goes back to when I was, 5, 6 years old, playing t-ball, and even in the league that we played in t-ball, and I can still remember this clear as day. We played in this little end of the year tournament. We technically came in second place. We lost in the championship game, and this was at the beginning stages of the participation trophy era. And we got our participation trophy. My dad grabbed it and threw it right in the garbage, like right in front of
Hmm.
everybody. And as a 5, 6 year old, I was kind of like stunned because, I looked at it as I played, I won something. And dad was like, no, he's like, we play to win, and we want to win the whole thing. And I remember we had some family that were there. My grandmother was there. She was like so upset at my dad. And she was like, she's telling my dad, she was like, you can't do that to that boy. He's out here to have fun. And my dad was like, no, we lost. Like, losing's not fun. Winning is fun. And so from that moment, he's like, if that scoreboard's on, we're here to win. Like, there's going to be a winner and a loser. And so after hearing all that and seeing that happen, it wasn't like a traumatizing thing. It just motivated me to where I'm like, I never want to feel that again. And I
Hmm.
don't want to lose. And so, um, then it transcended into sports, not even getting away from team sports and going to an individual sport. I started racing go-karts. Well, now you're the only one behind the wheel. You have no team other than my dad that was, building the go-karts. But when you're out on the track, you're by yourself. You got no one to blame. You got no one to say like, oh, well, I should have done this or he should have done that. Like, it's just you and yourself out there. And so
Yeah.
that breeded another form of that competitiveness. And so for the longest time, I've always been competitive. I always tell people all the time, you put tic-tac-toe in front of me and my grandmother, and I'm going to do everything I can to beat the brakes off of her in tic-tac-toe.
Yeah.
And that's just how competitive I am. But again, going back to the question, like, how far is too far in the context of church league softball, number one, two, I have to remember, yes, I'm playing for another church, but I also represent a church while I'm out there. And there's a lot of people that are sitting in our stands, and there's a lot of people that are sitting in the other team stands that know me. Being a pastor in a small town is living in a glass house, and all three of us are very familiar with that, and we know
Yep.
what that's like. And so and it's taken me, a couple years. My very first year playing softball here in Cairo, I was still a fairly new guy. I had just come out of playing like city softball, city league softball back in my hometown, which was super competitive, and playing some travel softball stuff. And so I come into this church league realm, and we're wiping the floor with everybody. We ended up going 13-0 that season with the church that I was with, won the whole thing. And the whole season, I'm just jawing at everybody. And, I had some people on our team, but then more importantly, my wife was like, hey, you need to remember who you are and remember who you are in the community and possibly calm it down a little bit. And so, it's definitely been that learning of like, all right, I got to filter this. Cause like Bryan said, it is simply just church league softball. Like,
Yeah.
when
It
I step
is.
between those lines, of course, there is going to be that sense of competitiveness. But at the end of the day, I have to understand, like last year, we won the championship on a Monday night. Tuesday morning, guess what? My life went back to the way it was. No, we didn't have a championship parade. I had no one coming to interview me, nothing. My life was just like everybody else that played in that league. We all went back to work on Tuesday morning. I didn't even get a t-shirt.
You just
Okay.
had
Like,
every other team in the league just after you after that. I mean, it's just
yeah, that
Yep.
was it.
like
I
you
That's
just
had
all it was.
become
bragging
public enemy
rights.
number one.
Yeah, that was it. But so yeah, no, it is a good question. I like I said, I think it is in the context. Now, I'm still going to be competitive. I probably don't smack talk as much. I'm not gonna say I don't do it at all. I mean, I still do it. I might do it to like my own teammates, but I still do it in some form or another. But
Yeah.
again, I do find myself out there. Like, I mean, I was standing right next to Bryan during that call. I mean, it happened right in front of me. I'm standing right next to him, and I look up and I go to say something. I realize, oh, that's Bryan's dad. That's probably, and there's two guys playing up the middle. Both are pastors, and one of them is his son. So this probably isn't a good look for us. So I should just stay quiet. And I didn't say anything. So because
Yeah.
again, there's one thing that I've learned of just living in a small town is perspective is everything. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and so if you can just carry yourself in a manner that is in the right
Hey,
light, I think you're
so
you're
I'll
doing
tell
good.
you real quick. Now this has been several years ago. This was back when I was probably willing to be a little bit more vocal. This may actually be the moment where I learned to bite my tongue when my dad was officiating. He he was doing home plate, and he rings me up on a third strike. Rings me up. This ball was so deep, brother. I'm telling you, so deep. And he rung me up. And I'm telling you, I almost lost it. I almost lost it on my daddy, but I turned around,
That
I
Christmas
walked
dinner would have been
away,
real awkward.
and I laughed it off. And he still to this day, he's still to this day, he'll tell you it's a strike if he remembers it.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, for the longest time, he was like, man, no, it's right. I'm telling y'all, that ball was deep, deep. I'm talking about
Not
way
even
deep.
close.
Not even, I mean,
Not even
Oh
close.
boy.
come on now. Y'all seen me play enough. I don't take pitches. If I
No.
can, if I can put the barrel on it, I'm putting the barrel on it. So if I'm
Swing.
taking something, it's bad. And he rung me up,
Yeah.
son. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I would
Yeah.
have absolutely lost it on anybody else, but I turned around and saw him, and I was like, well, that's unfortunate. So,
Yeah.
but no, dude,
Yeah. And
competition, man, is competition. And what I loved about the other night, especially in the second game with those young guys, competition is like a sign of respect. Like, to see them
Yeah.
oh
coming
yeah.
after us like that, it makes me
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
feel the way that I'm sure those guys felt when we were chasing them down 20 years ago. And it's good for
Yeah.
the league. It's good for the community, because that makes
Mhm.
me feel good that 20 years from now they still going to be out here playing church league softball, and it'll
Oh
be
yeah.
the next
Yeah.
young crop coming up, trying to knock them off.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a good year for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good.
And
I
and I'll tell
remember, I
you.
remember them boys when we were playing them boys last year. I remember us because a lot of them that was their first year playing softball or really
Mhm.
trying to get into it. And I remember us looking at each other and saying like, "If these boys come back next year, well, they'll be pretty good. They get a
Yeah.
whole season under their belt." And they were, and like Bryan says, it was cool to see that they were ecstatic about it. And again, we talk about being competitive. I'll be honest with you, I don't like to lose. I still don't like to lose from
No,
even when I was 5 6 years old. But you live and you move on. But it was cool to see
Yeah.
that. I mean, Bryan and I were walking out with some people from that team, and they were just like, man, we were talking about this yesterday, and we finally did it, we won. So but it was cool, like you said, just to see it now,
Yeah.
and hopefully 10 15 years from now they're going to be the us. They're going to be the older guys, and then there'll be a new wave behind them. So, but
Yeah.
I think the whole league this year is going to be ultra competitive. I think you're going to see a lot of those 1 run, 2 run games, and all the defenses are really well. And so, our biggest goal for our team personally is to stay healthy. Just, just stay healthy. And I can't say
Mhm.
we accomplished that after the first 2 games this year. We got guys that are still hurt, and then we got guys that got hurt in those 2 games. So
Mhm.
it's just going to be, can we keep the entire roster healthy all the way through the year and
Mhm.
and get to that tournament? So that's where it's going to matter to me. So we'll see. But
Yep.
um, but yeah,
Okay.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, did that answer your question, Matt?
Yeah, yeah. I tell you, for me, what it was, because I'm the same way. I don't like to lose. I think competition is great. I mean, we even see competition. I mean, Paul talks about running a race and running it to win. So you see competition even in the Bible. For me, I'm the same way in the fact that I don't like to lose. I know most of those guys on that team, and so to see them happy at the end of it was really cool, but it was also very frustrating too because that meant because we lost, But at the same time, I get home and I tell you where the question popped in my mind as soon as I got home, and my little 4-year-old son came up and he said, "Daddy, did you play softball?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Did you have fun?" And I had to go, okay. Yeah, I did have fun. And all of a sudden, think like a 4-year-old just kind of put me in my place, and it was kind of like,
Humbled you
you
real
know what,
fast.
like
suck
it up, dude. It's okay. It's softball, and
Yeah.
I've sat over the last few days, and you're gearing up for football season that's coming, and all of the things that people turn into during football season. I think about all these things, and and that's kind of where that came from. So I was just curious as to what you guys thought. How far
Well,
in
speaking
that
of football
line.
season, talk about hate losing. I mean, my God, I'm a Florida Gator fan.
Yeah,
Trust me, I'm used to losing recently with football,
yeah,
but God, I don't like it. I
yeah,
don't like it at all.
yeah. It's
But
not fun.
You better
uh,
get comfortable.
It's not fun.
yeah, I don't like it. So,
Yeah. So that's where that came
I
from. I was just curious
yeah
to see kind of what you guys because I mean, well, like I said, we're all in the same boat, man. And I think I even think at times, even some trash talk, some people don't like it. I think it can be healthy and it could definitely be a lot of fun. Because what it does is it
yeah
pushes you and it kind of spurns you on a little bit. Sometimes it kind of burns you, and all that does is just creates something inside of you that's a little bit different, creates a different fire in you. And it makes you want to
yeah.
go out and to be better, which is the purpose of it all, right? To be better than what you were when you started. That's why we do what we do.
Mhm.
So
That's right. I just enjoy this group that we got. This group of guys that we play with. They're a fun group, and last year was probably the most fun softball season I've ever played. And I know we're only 2 games into this one, but I think it's gonna be fun.
yeah,
Win or lose, we're gonna because we just have a good group of guys that we get out there and just try to
Hey,
enjoy
I'll
the night. That's our
go on and let you know I told you that they had ordered fan T-shirts. Well,
mm-hmm.
they're
yes,
in now.
yes,
They have been
yeah.
distributed.
I
So
got one. Yeah, my
the
wife and kids got them.
the
So
fan section is coming out in their
yeah,
attire next week. So they didn't
there's gonna
have
be
it
a
by the first game, but they do now. Hey, and before we
yeah.
get off church league softball, if we don't shout out Kyle Moy and Abundant Life Binders and Believers and their
Yeah,
2-0
oh, I know.
start, Kyle Moy, this
Oh,
is your moment.
yes,
You are 2 and
yes.
0, brother.
Two
You
and
are 2 and
oh,
0.
2-0.
You were sitting at the
Yeah,
top of the league, but I'm telling you, these Providence boys is coming for you.
we're
I'm
coming.
telling you,
We're
we coming
coming.
for you.
We're coming.
Just a couple of
We're
weeks, we're gonna
coming.
see you.
We
Could you
won't be that
imagine Kyle's been
competitive, but we're gonna beat you.
Yeah, we're
Kyle
coming.
Kyle was 20 plus minutes into this episode, and we've been talking about church league softball, and he's like, I know they're gonna
They
say,
got to
and
say it.
we
They
almost
got it. Well,
didn't.
here
We
you
almost
go.
didn't.
I wasn't gonna let
Yeah,
it pass,
Kyle.
brother.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, to give you guys some context for those that are listening, Kyle Moy, their team last year, they had fun too, but in a different way. They only won 1 game, and
Yeah.
he told us after, I ended up playing on a team with him in Thomasville after the church league season, and he said, "Abundant Life," he said, "we coming back, and we gonna bounce back," and they
I
have. They
love
got a
it.
good team, and they're
Yeah.
2-0. They're competitive. It was like Bryan said after the season last year, and we won. You could tell the rest of the teams, boy, Providence was public enemy number 1, and they were coming for us. It's like everybody has Providence marked on their calendar for softball. So, it's a great feeling to know that we're every other team's Super Bowl. So this is great. I'm excited about it. So I feel
It's
like I'm on
exhausting.
it's exhausting. Yeah,
Give us your
yeah.
B game.
So
We're getting old.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. There
yeah.
you
We're
go.
hurt.
That's
We're hurt.
right.
I mean,
That's
it
right.
is now Thursday night and so it's been 4 days after our game, and my legs are still sore. So, yeah, give us a break, everybody. And we're only 2 games in, and I'm hurting. So, but yeah. Anyways, yeah. Shout out to Kyle and all them at Abundant Life, great dudes over there.
Good job,
And so,
guys.
yeah, we'll try to keep you guys updated the best we can as far as how our softball season goes. We'll try to keep a record tally going, maybe throw something up and show you, where every team is sitting in the standings. And, if you happen to see any of us on the podcast in a brace of some kind, well,
Hmm.
we're just getting old, and we get injured. All right, we not only live in glass houses as pastors, but we're also made of glass as well, with our old and fragile bones. So. But that is our softball update. Now we want to get into a category or a chapter of our episodes in our podcast, and a segment that we haven't done in a while, but we're bringing it back. It's been a couple episodes, but Bryan is bothered. This is a fan favorite. Everybody loves to hear Bryan not only talk about how competitive he is, but then also the things that make him frustrated. So that is what we're jumping into next. Bryan is bothered. Brother, this is your segment, so take it away. What is bothering you now?
I'm bothered by Kyle Moy and abundant. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh man.
I feel,
That's so funny.
honestly,
That's
with this
funny.
segment, I feel like I've been like, I don't know, really,
Jeez.
really intense on the last few that I've mentioned, but this one, and I'm going to feel like I'm attacking the food industry again, but this is kind of a more general and light statement. I am bothered by when you walk into a restaurant. This is really common at buffets. Okay.
Hmm.
So you walk into a buffet restaurant and there's a line, and there are these humans that, even though there's 50 people in line in front of you, they walk in and they hit the door and they're like, go save those seats. Go save those seats. And I'm sitting here and I'm
Yes.
watching this and I'm like, where are these other 50 people going to eat while you sit waiting for them to get their, like it. We've got some Sunday buffets here in Cairo, and I'm telling you, if you want to get under Pastor Bryan's skin, walk into the buffet and go save yourself a seat when there's 50 people in front of you trying to fix a plate. Like, the whole design of the operation is set up for you to go through the line and to eat. And if everybody will agree and get on the same page, we can all go through the line, and by that time people will be done and they will be exiting, and it's just like the circle of life in the buffet. But as soon as Aunt Karen or Uncle Tom or whoever comes through the door and decides, well, I'm going to take my party of 12 and we're going to go ahead and reserve a seat, and you're at the back of the line, it does not work that way. So, and it's not just buffets. There's some restaurants that you walk in and order your food in this town that, when it gets crowded and if it's at the right time, you got people that'll come in and take up all these tables. And here I am holding my plate looking around like, well, I guess I'm going to eat on the floor. You ain't got your food yet. Your party's still standing out there in the parking lot, but I guess I'm going to eat right here on this bench. So that's what I'm bothered by. Probably don't affect anybody else, but I'm telling you, it bothers me.
That is a good. That is a good. I think it's just awkward in general to save seats, like, and I'm saying, like, imagine being the person on the other side. So you, Bryan, are sitting there with a plate full of food, looking around for a table, and I'm sitting there. All my
With
family
nothing.
was in line behind you, and I'm
Yeah.
just sitting there looking at you like, I don't have anything.
Yeah.
To me, like, I've been on both sides of that, and that's awkward.
Yeah.
Like, I'll admit, I've done the seat saving, and it is awkward because then you feel like you've stolen something from someone.
No,
Because
it's not
essentially
Phil.
you
You
have.
did. You did.
Yeah, you
You
did.
stole their
You
seat.
did.
They were there
You
before
did.
you. I
I
mean,
just feel
the
like,
restaurant gets to decide how the flow goes. So if you walk in, and if it's at a buffet, if you walk in and you pay and you fix your plate and go sit down, that's the flow that they have created. You don't get to create your own flow. You don't. I
yeah,
mean, you go to some of the restaurants where you wait in line to order your food and then you go sit down. You don't get to reverse that just because you feel like it. But I'm telling you, my own
yeah,
it annoys me when my own family wants to do it. Like my and I love my mama. My mama will do that. She'll walk in and say, "Why don't you go on and save us some seats?" And I'll tell her real quick. I'm like, "Mama, where are all these people in front of us supposed to eat?" I said, "By the time we get up there, some of these people are going to be done. This is just how it works. They're going to be done. They're going to throw the trash away, and we'll sit down. It works out."
yeah,
But man, it gets under
yeah.
my skin. Woo.
What makes me feel awkward about it is like when is when, like, my wife, and I don't try to throw her under the bus, but like my wife will tell me to go save seats, like in a restaurant style like that, or any type of public thing like that where it's not appropriate to be saving seats, because then you do feel like you're stealing and you feel like you're jumping a line of some sort. But what bothers me about it is she'll say, "Hey, go save the seats real quick. I'm going to take me and the girls to the bathroom." So here I am sitting at this massive table that like 6 or 7 people could sit at,
Yes.
and I'm just there by myself
Yes.
They're
chilling.
not even getting
and,
food.
No
and everyone's
food.
like,
No food.
no
Yeah, no
food,
food.
nothing.
Him,
And
all these other people with
everybody-
trays, and they're like,
they're walking by me, and Jesse's one of those. She'll take a jacket, lay it over a chair. She'll put keys over here to make it look like the Addams family is sitting there,
yeah,
and it's just me, and I'm just like,
yeah,
"Hey, how's it going?" Like they're just, and I'm just getting these desk glares, and
Yeah.
so, and I
rightfully
know,
so.
yeah, being the head of the household, like y'all have done that too. And Brian, I know
Yeah.
it's happened to you too.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's awkward. You're just sitting
Yeah.
there, and you're like, because you fight this battle. It's like, well, if I get up, I'm doing a good thing by giving these people the seat that they deserve. But
Yeah.
if I get up, I have to deal with what's coming out of that bathroom, and
Yeah.
I got to answer for that. And I don't want to
Yeah.
do that. And so it's this game of sacrifice. It's like,
It is.
do I continue to get the dirty looks from you people that I don't know or won't ever see again? Or do I have to deal with that hard conversation that we're having later? Why didn't you save the seat? So
Terrible place to be. Terrible place to be.
It is. So as I feel like as a, to all the wives out there, when you do that to your husband, you put us in a difficult position. Like don't do that. Like because you're not out there facing the people. You're not out there in the trenches facing the war that is before us. You come out and just your seat's saved, and it's right back to life. It goes, and you don't understand that 5-minute battle that we just had to endure. So yeah, I think when in doubt, you should definitely just go straight to the line, or like a buffet, you go straight to the buffet, then find a table.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like, Brian, with all the food industry stuff that we've been bashing, there is no way on this earth that you, Brian, would ever be able to own or operate a restaurant, because there's so many of these things. Like if you were the owner of that restaurant and you saw that happening, like that would blow your mind.
No
You'd be like,
soup for you.
What are we doing?
I can tell you this: we would have a known flow of patrons. We would have ice in cups.
Yeah.
And what other gripe did I have with restaurants? Was that it?
The tipping.
Yeah, the
tipping. Yeah.
Yeah.
We wouldn't even have a tip machine. Or we wouldn't even have a tip request or anything like that, because our service would be so impeccable that people would be begging to tip our servers.
Hey, can
Begging.
we real quick before we jump to the next thing, can we share that story real quick about the three of us when we went to go play golf and we ate at that restaurant in Tallahassee? Can we talk about that? So this is where Brian's advice bit me and Matt in the rear end.
It did.
Well,
It did.
Because
We
y'all
took
weren't
your
paying
advice.
attention. Because you're not paying attention. See, I'm not.
We're paying attention.
No, obviously not.
That's not it.
Stop. We went
That
to a
is not it.
restaurant in Tallahassee. It was one where you went up to the counter and you ordered your food. This young lady that was behind the counter clearly was just working that register. She took our order from the counter. I sat there and ordered it. She typed it on the computer. I paid, and then as I paid, it spit back the thing. You want to tip 15, 20, or 30%, whatever it is, and then no tip, whatever. I clicked the no tip, and I went on. And my drink was right there. She just turned around, made it, and that was it. Matt did the same thing. Brian, instinctively not thinking, he tipped. When we sat down at the table, I said, Matt, did you tip? And he goes, no, I didn't tip. Of course not. And then I looked at Brian, and I was like, did you tip? He's like, oh yeah, I did. I must not have been thinking. Well, then you could clearly tell the rest of the time we were there, that lady treated Matt and I very differently than she treated Brian. She waited on Brian hand and foot. I'm pretty sure at one point she threw that thing of ranch dressing at me. Like, I'm pretty sure it was a projectile at one point. And I was like, I was scared to ask for a refill, but then she was coming up the table and she wouldn't go, can I get y'all anything? She'd look right at Brian. Sir, can I get you anything? And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. And it was deceiving because we didn't really know that she was like out there serving, waiting on the table. So, I mean, I did feel slightly bad, but then
Yep.
I don't know. It was just a weird
Now
situation.
that one backfired on y'all a little bit, but it
Yeah,
A little
you
bit.
think?
the thing is, I think we should maybe grasp if they hand you a number, and you got to go put that down on your table, you're probably getting served. Not all the time, but most likely, if you're given a number, you probably need to consider tipping. Um, I didn't know. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I didn't know we were going to get served like that. I mean, I thought somebody, and honestly, what I tipped was more in line with somebody that would just bring your food out. Not, I would have tipped more had I known she was going to treat me like, the king of England. You know what I'm
King.
saying? I mean,
Mm.
She
I
did.
don't king. Yeah, not
She
the
did.
queen.
Mm.
I'm the king.
But I guess my question is, and it goes back to what the whole Bryan was bothered segment on was, you know, and this isn't a place for me to ask like her directly, but it's like she's not getting paid like a waitress, like, $3 and $4, and she's dependent upon the tips. I think she probably was making, the $15 or whatever it is an hour. But I don't, I guess you can't, it's
But
hard to
she
judge
was.
that in the moment.
Yeah, and see, I don't. I think it's hard for the customer to decipher that. My stance is this: if you serve me, I don't care what you make. If you're serving me, I'll tip you. I'm not going to tip people that are not making a server's wage that aren't serving. Does that make
And I
sense?
thought, well, yeah, it does. But then I'll be honest with you. When I push no thank you on the screen, I didn't know she could see that. I thought that screen goes away. So she had Matt and I zeroed in from the
Yeah,
jump.
yeah,
And then I was
it was
ready to get out
bad.
of there. Now, mind you, the fish tacos that I had were muy bueno, very good.
Food was
Um,
great.
yeah, food was fantastic.
You're welcome. You're
Service
welcome.
was, it was all right. Bryan thought the service was excellent. He
It was
would leave a
great.
great Yelp review. Yeah, Matt
Jeez.
and I looked at each other and we're like, man, this is we just walked into a hostile environment here.
I know.
This
What
was
a
not.
jerk.
Y'all boys got to get your tip game in check.
Well,
Y'all done let me
I don't.
scare you. Y'all done let me scare you out of tipping altogether. That wasn't the point.
But it wasn't like me and Matt were
Oh,
like the same.
man.
Like I didn't even hesitate. Like as soon as it popped up on the screen, I said, no, boom, hit it. And boy,
I'm
was
trying to
was
get
that a
you.
mistake.
I'm trying to get you to stop tipping on a 6-cent sandwich, not on a $25 plate of seafood.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
there's
all
a
right. There you go.
difference. There's a
Yeah.
difference.
Oh,
Yeah.
whatever.
I guess
Whatever.
I got to start asking the right questions. Like, hey, before I get my food, are you going to give me a number? Like, you bringing this food out to me,
No,
or I got
no,
to come
bump
and get
that.
it?
Bump that. When it comes up and says tip, I'm gonna say,
Matt's not
how much do you make? Okay, all right.
Yeah. He's going straight for the throat. You making
Yeah.
15 an hour? I
Yeah.
am. Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
Hey,
No
just
thanks.
Nah, you ain't
like
getting that.
be
Oh,
up
man.
to speed on the minimum on the waiter and waitress on the server's wage. Just be up to speed on it and just ask them point blank. Do you make $2.14 an hour? And if they say no, just
Yeah.
hit no.
Nope, you ain't getting that. Nope.
You
Oh
already getting
my
paid for this,
gosh.
then, girl.
That's right. Oh boy.
Man,
Oh yeah. Dude,
That's
it was
terrible.
funny
definitely
though.
the
It was funny.
yeah. I was
Oh man.
yeah, I was ready to get out of there. But anyways, okay. So if you're in a restaurant in Cairo or you're whatever and it's a buffet
Oh, I
or
got
it's
a
a place where
question
you
to
got to
ask.
go up to the counter and order, don't save seats. Just
I
do
got a
what the
question.
restaurant is asking you to do. Keep the flow. Yes, Matt, go ahead.
Okay, so in the buffet setting, what happens then, Brian, if someone goes, they sit down and they place their drink orders before they go get in line to do their buffet thing? Is that still kind of considered the same thing?
Mm.
That is the same
I
thing.
feel like they're locked. I feel like they're locked in at that point though.
If that's the flow, right?
Sure.
Okay, because I don't want to call names, but just okay. Here in Cairo, there's one that you walk in, you go straight to the line. There's nobody seating you. Okay, so that's off the
Yeah.
table. So it's every man
Yeah,
for
because
himself. All right.
the line's right at the door
But
anyway.
the known flow is through the line, sit down, then they come and take your drink. Okay.
I got you.
So from my view, anything deviating from that plan is being selfish and totally reckless. Okay. So you need to abide by the rules and follow the flow of the restaurant. Now, I will
Yeah.
say this, and this is where you got to kick it back on the restaurant. I also believe, and I have seen where it can get so crowded that even when people are doing it the right way, you never want anybody to get to the end of the line holding a salad and a plate of food and nowhere to sit. That's on the establishment to make sure that they're stopping people and saying, hey, it's going to be about a 10, 15-minute wait. If y'all want to hang out, be more than happy for you to get through the line in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That
Because
is also what I think contributes. Like if that took place, people wouldn't feel the need to walk in and see somebody get up and run in front of everybody and sit down. But
yeah.
man,
Because my
what
thing
an
So
is
does
like
annoying
does that fall on the restaurant, or does that fall on the people?
restaurant. If it's so crowded that the natural flow isn't working, that's on the restaurant.
Yeah.
But it's on
Yeah.
the people if you're
Yeah.
creating the problem. So
Because
it
that's my thing.
does. So I mean, if you got
Yeah,
5 tables that are filled with people that are staring at their family members in line, we got a problem. Because Jimmy John is
see,
down here at the end, and he's got a plate full of food and nowhere to sit.
yeah. My
So
problem with it is not necessarily in the part of like saving the seats or whatever. My problem is in the fact that people come, they sit, they eat their food, they're done. They've been done 5-10 minutes, and they're just chatting it up about life. And it sometimes
Oh
is
yeah. Like, get
it's
up.
family who's
it's a
going to the
buffet.
same house when they leave.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
leave. You ate.
Yeah.
Like, go. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have you go sit out in the parking lot and talk. Pick up your cell phone, call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem that I get worked up over. It's like, that's where it comes in with the saving seats that people started doing. Was you walk in these restaurants, people are been done eating, and they're just sitting there talking about life, and it's like,
Yeah.
you could do it somewhere completely different. There's a 20-minute wait out here because you won't stop talking after you've ate 15 minutes ago.
The thing that
You
gets
know,
me is like, what do you think about this? Like, we've stayed at some different like resorts like down in Orlando and stuff, and the people who get up like early in the morning and throw towels over like the chairs by the pool and reserve. Like, do you walk out and see that when you got your kids there and like there's no place to sit? There's not a soul at the pool, but every chair is taken and reserved because you got people who
That's a
get
free
up at
towel.
7 a.m. in the yeah, like,
Yeah.
what do you
It's
do in that
annoying.
situation, dude?
It's
Yeah, it
annoying,
is
man.
annoying.
I mean,
Don't be that person. Don't be the person.
no, I mean,
Don't be dumb.
I don't know, dude. It's that's just selfish. That's all it is. It's just
Yeah.
our selfish
These
nature that's like, I do not care if somebody wants to come enjoy these lounge chairs for a couple hours before I'm supposed to come out here. I don't want to take the chance that they'll still be here. So I'm going to go sit my towel down, and I don't care if their vacation is ruined or not. What kind of attitude is that, man?
Yeah.
these are the kind of questions that we need answers to. These are the kind of questions that save America, honestly.
Yeah.
You know?
Brandon, imagine walking into a crowded buffet restaurant this Sunday and having 30 to 40 people right here in your community in front of you in line, and you sending Jesse and the girls on in to take an unoccupied table. Just the level of selfishness and just reckless behavior on your part is at an all-time high. I mean,
we're gonna go to lunch on Sunday after church, and the lines are gonna be out the door in the street because everyone that listens to the podcast, they're gonna like they're gonna be too afraid to pick a table because they're like, man, like, if Bryan shows up, and he sees us just sitting at a table with no food, he's gonna be like, get up, you're done, get in line.
Hey, I will say this. I've been getting a lot of ice in Grady County. A lot.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, you have. There's not been an ice shortage anymore. So
Nope.
we sometimes think this podcast isn't reaching people, but we're seeing the fruits of our labor. I mean, we're seeing it. We're seeing it come to fruition. Oh my goodness! All right. Well, if you're going to a buffet style restaurant or restaurant where you got to walk up to the counter and order, just again, don't be selfish. Get in line, take your order. But then ask the hard questions. Ask the person behind the counter, hey, how much do you make an hour?
That's right.
And
That's
then
right.
there you go. Now you'll figure out how much you got to tip, if you have to tip at all. So take that as a lesson learned from me and Matt.
Yep.
But Anywho's, all right, moving on. Thank you for Bryan's bother. Hope you enjoyed that. I'd love to hear your response on that. What do you think about selfish people taking your seat, and whether it be at a resort or at a restaurant? Bunch of punks. But anyways, in other news, moving to some sports stuff, for all of you UFC fans in the world, UFC 304 is happening this weekend over across the pond in Manchester, England. So this is going to be really, really cool. UFC 304. Leon Edwards is taking on Mr. Muhammad. How do you say his first name, Bryan? He's 23-3, by the way. Bilal
Bilal.
Muhammad for the welterweight title. That is the main event. The co-main is Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades, and that is
Huge
for the
fight.
heavyweight title. That is, literally huge fight.
That's a rematch too. Pretty sure.
Yeah, both of them are. Edwards and Muhammad. This is the second go around for them, and then Aspinall and Blades, I believe, I think they've fought before too. And then the fight right before that is Mr. King Green himself and Paddy Pimblett, Paddy the Batty, going against each other, which will in the 155-pound division. So that'll be cool. Yeah, a lot of cool fights if you're into the UFC. A lot of people from England, obviously, fighting on this card because it is in England. Literally, I think almost everybody. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Almost 8 of the 9 fights on the main card have someone from England. That's pretty cool. That's
Have
pretty
y'all
cool.
seen
So,
seen Patty's intro?
yeah, yeah,
Dude,
he's crazy.
it in England, it is
They're gonna go
the
nuts.
most lit thing you've ever seen in your. It is by far worth the price of admission just to watch it because of that. He is going to be out of control.
Yeah, they are gonna go. They are going to go nuts. His last fight, though, was all the way back in December of last year. He beat Tony Ferguson by unanimous decision. But he is on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3,
He's
4,
undefeated in the
5,
UFC.
6, 7. He's on a 7-fight win streak. 7-fight win streak, undefeated in the UFC. He is going to do very, very, very well, I think. And right now, I think as it stands, he might be favored to win this fight. No,
Yes,
no,
no,
he's not.
no, he's not.
He's
Green,
not favored.
dude. Bobby Green's nasty, man.
It's very
They
close.
got him as King
very
Green,
close.
but Bobby Green's nasty. That dude is. That's going to be a tough fight, but
and he's coming on. He just fought back in April at UFC 300, won by unanimous decision. So
yeah,
pretty good. Oh man, so
it's going to be a good card.
Yeah.
Arnold Allen down
UFC
the card. He's a up and comer. Let me see. Molly McCann obviously will get him rocking. That's Patty's good friend.
She's on the card too. I didn't even see. Oh, she is.
Mm-hmm.
She is. Wow, she's a pretty good favorite to beat that girl. Yeah, she'll get them going. But if you are a UFC fan, that third from last fight, that Paddy Pimblett versus King Green, Bobby Green, tune into those intros. It's going to be a wild intro when he comes in. That's going to be really, really cool. And so I think it'll be a good card. All the way in Manchester, England, across the pond. So I believe, again, early prelims are 6 p.m., prelims are 8, and the main card starts at 10 p.m. So, man, what time does that put them fighting over there?
So,
how far?
Yeah, I think it's
pretty crazy time difference, right?
I think it's like an afternoon. No. It'll be, it's 10 here. Good gracious, that's like 6 in the morning over there. Is that right?
Yeah. So at the time of this recording, it's almost 11 o'clock at night, and it's 10:51, and over there it's 3:51 a.m. right now. That's crazy. So they'll be fighting at 3, 4 in the morning. Like, really? Like the early prelims and the prelims are going to be fighting at like midnight, 1 in the morning over there.
You sure they're not just like, that's not our time frame for them? They're showing you our time frame.
Yeah, that's usually how that goes.
But I'm saying I don't. Yeah. Okay. I'm confused.
No, it says the main reason for UFC 304's late start time is to cater for an American pay-per-view audience. This means that the prelims for UFC 304 will get underway at 11 p.m. In the UK, with the main card to follow at 3
Ooh.
a.m. Wow.
How do you do
Wow.
so how do you do that? Do you just like start training your
Jeez.
body to like sleep all day and be up at night, like get in like night shift mode?
I
Like
guess.
how do
I
you
would
do that?
assume I would assume they're probably doing press conferences and weigh-ins and everything like on that weird, like almost
Weird
still trying
time.
to track with, because that's the same times it would be if it was in Vegas. So I guess they're
Well,
trying to keep it
the
on the
weigh-ins would
same.
have to be that because you got to give guys time to,
Mm-hmm.
bring the weight back up. Wow, I didn't. That's a good catch. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be wild. Just to know that we're gonna be watching that at 10 p.m. and it's gonna be like 2 in the morning over there. Like that's crazy.
So
Or
they're
2 or 3
so
o'clock in the
they're
morning.
how are they only 5? So they're only 5 hours behind us.
Yeah,
That's
right
right.
now over there,
I'm thinking
no,
about
they're
the
ahead of us.
time ahead of
They're
us. Yeah,
ahead of
that
us.
that that
They're
time we flew. Me and Crystal flew to Stockholm, Sweden one time, and I remember the flight was 10 hours, but we left at like 4 in the afternoon. So we flew 10 hours, which would be like 2 in the morning here, but then it was like essentially 7 a.m. when we landed
Mm.
over there. So we like basically flew through the night, even though it was weird. But yeah, that sounds right. 5 hour difference, pretty much from Eastern Standard Time.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well,
It's late.
yeah. Wow. All right. So UFC 304 should be a good one. So hopefully you'll tune in and watch, and maybe we'll have some reactions in the next episode that we have. Moving
Wait a
to another
minute.
thing is
Wait a minute.
what?
Wait.
Wouldn't that mean that we would be seeing into the future? Because it's only Saturday. It's only Saturday here, and we'll be
It'll
watching
be
Sunday
Sunday morning.
there. Bro, like,
Well, that's something you tweet like, "Hey, I bet Sunday morning." Uh,
how?
all right.
Jeez. Oh my
Time travelers,
goodness
baby.
gracious.
Time, yeah. If you're gonna watch UFC 304, you're a time traveler. Okay, I was ready to transition to the next thing, and you just totally derailed that. Okay, now we're doing that again.
Jeez.
To end this episode, we want to touch on something big that's happening this summer. It's called the Olympics, 2024 Olympics in Paris as well. A lot of things going on across the pond. They're gonna be busy over there. Friday evening, July 26th, is the opening ceremonies. So that'll be cool. I believe that's the opening ceremonies is when that is. So that'll be really cool. And there's already some stuff that's going on. Rugby's happening. I did watch a little bit of rugby happening, and so there's some other sports. Handball's going on right now.
Soccer.
Archery, soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, did you guys see Canada's women's head coach got kicked out because they were cheating? Did you see that? That's wild.
No, I didn't see that.
Cheating? What?
Yeah. So they were set to play a match against like a New Zealand or something, and the Canadian women's soccer team got caught flying a drone over New Zealand's practice and watching them practice.
Jeez
And
Louise.
so yeah, like two of the assistant coaches like got in trouble, and then the head coach for
Golly.
Canada took herself off for that game. She's like, I just won't be there. We'll let the assistant coach do it. And the
They already
Olympic
filmed
committee,
it.
they're like, nah, you got to go.
Hey, we can thank Team Canada's coach for answering Maddie's question. That is too
How
competitive.
far is too far?
Okay. When we
Yeah,
start
that's too far.
flying drones over abundant life to see what decisions they're making, that's too competitive. Okay.
That's too competitive. That is too competitive. Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Boy.
Oh yeah, that was wild.
Jeez.
I saw that today. But yeah, so Friday night is the opening ceremony. So hopefully, if this episode comes out Friday morning, hopefully you guys will see that tonight, the opening ceremony, and then a lot of stuff going on. that starts. What do you guys, real quick? Let me ask you, what is like the one event, or what's your favorite event that you look forward to for the Olympics?
Favorite event?
Yeah,
Man,
like what are the things you're definitely going to tune into and watch? Like swimming for me is one that I'm going to watch. Obviously, that was brought on because of Michael Phelps. Like when you're watching Michael Phelps swim, like everyone's going to tune in and watch.
Yeah.
But now you have like Caleb Dressel. He'll be swimming for the men. You have Katie Ledecky's going to be swimming for on
Isn't
on the
she? She's
women's
got a
side.
chance to like break some women records for medals, doesn't
She
she?
does.
I'm sure.
She
I'm
does.
sure
Yeah.
she is the
Yeah.
Michael Phelps on the women's side for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But I think swimming for me is always great. Even before my girls were showing any, even before my girls were born, I mean, I always loved watching the gymnastics because our gymnastic teams has always been good for the Olympics. They've always been good. But obviously this year I'm certainly going to be tuned into the men's basketball. I mean, the team
Bro.
that USA has assembled is insane.
Hey,
It is
I agree, and I hope and pray they win. But I'm gonna tell you what I think may be the biggest story to come out of these Olympics is: did you see the South Sudan team that almost knocked them off?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. That was pretty.
These jokers are
Yeah.
all like 8 foot tall ballers.
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about, and I was just looking. They're in their pool, like they're in the.
Oh, are they? Oh no.
They're in their group.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's
Oh no.
Puerto Rico, South Sudan, Serbia, and USA. So USA,
Jeez.
I mean, they're gonna have to play them in the group round. Like, dude, I'm telling you, I don't think they can beat Team USA, but they almost did. I don't know that they'll beat them when they're
did.
ratcheted up and
Hey.
playing full speed. But
Bryan, tell the people though, who saved the day, who came up in the clutch.
old baby
Came up
Bryan,
in-
the goat, the goat. Yeah, I said it.
The GOAT.
The goat,
The greatest of all time.
of all time.
Greatest of all time. What
And
that
y'all
man,
go ahead
that
and
man
hit
40.
Y'all can hit the comment section with all that Michael Jordan garbage if you want to. LeBron James will mop the floor with that man. I'm telling you.
Well, it's funny.
It
The
ain't even close.
the first thing that pops in my mind when you say that is that y'all remember that old commercial that had Michael Jordan in, and he just said, "Just stop it." Like that's kind of like his line at the end of the commercial. But that's what I thought about when you said that. Just stop it.
Well,
That's what's going to happen. Some people's going to jump on that.
LeBron's winning gold medals in his 40s. Michael was sitting on the couch watching the Olympics in his 40s. So what this
LeBron
man
is still
doing
a
is
top 3, top 5 basketball player on planet Earth, and he's age.
He definitely.
we talking about church league softball hurting. This man's my age, and he's out there doing it in a young man's game.
Listen, he put the team on his shoulders for real, though.
Yeah, did you see the interview? So before the USA team started playing, they started asking like all the young guys, like, who's your like dream player to play with, who's the best ever, and like they got to Anthony Edwards, and it was like he was like, oh, Kevin Durant by far. Kevin Durant's the greatest player ever. Blah blah blah.
No.
And then it immediately cuts to the game after South Sudan, and they ask Anthony Edwards, like, what was the difference? What was the game changer for y'all? And he's like, oh, LeBron James. He goes, literally, like LeBron James carried us all the way. He's like, LeBron is the best all time. And it was just he just switched so quick. They're like, what was the difference? He's like, LeBron James. That was our game plan. Get the ball to LeBron. It's like, oh, okay. So it's just crazy to watch what they're doing. But you got LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid. Man, like you got like, yeah. And you have like the greatest coaches. You have Steve Kerr. You have, the coach for the Heat.
Spoelstra.
Yeah, Eric Spoelstra. Like, my thing is like these guys, I think they have the hardest job because it's like, what starting 5 do we go with? Like, and who's going to come off the bench?
Now y'all know what I feel like on Monday nights.
Oh, okay. Well,
wow.
You're not me dealing with that kind of a talent. I appreciate it. I'll take that as a compliment.
He's talking about me.
But yeah, definitely. Okay, all right.
It is. That's the toughest decision is where we put Matt.
That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
All All right. So I said gymnastics, swimming, and basketball. What do you guys think y'all will be watching?
I
Matt strikes
tune
me as an
into this.
equestrian guy.
I tune into the sprinting. I like to see that. I think and I'm not nearly as in tune with as I probably used to be, but there's a young, I think maybe a 16-year-old that made our relay team.
Mm.
Somebody
Did he
fact
actually
check me,
make the
but I'm
relay
pretty
team though?
sure. I think he did.
Okay.
I'm not going to say I'm 100% sure on that, but I'm just about as sure as a patron walking in a buffet wanting to save a seat that he.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Jeez Louise.
Let's see, track and field. Where's that at?
Yeah, he
Sprinting.
did.
Where?
He
I
did.
mean,
Yep.
did
16-year-old
he,
goes from high school to the Olympics. Okay.
bro?
I
That's
couldn't remember if
That's going to be worth
if
watching.
he made it or not. It is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I tell
So
you,
you got
the things that
him.
I like to watch. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
Now, the things that I like, let's see, you've got artistic swimming, badminton. You've got, no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Totally
artistic.
kidding.
Oh my
Oh
word.
man. Sorry. Now
Breakdancing is an Olympic
I do
sport.
like diving. It is.
Oh
Breakdancing
yeah,
is an Olympic sport. What? All
what it
right. So
says.
can we see like what is an Olympic sport and what is not? Like that's got to be crazy,
You
right?
want me to read them
I
Like
off
like
quickly?
oh yeah, you can. That's fine.
All right, archery,
Yep.
athletics. I don't know. What whatever. Badminton,
Mm-hmm.
basketball, beach volleyball, breakdancing, boxing, canoeing,
Yep.
cycling, diving,
Hold on. Break dancing.
equestrian, uh, breakdancing.
Where are you
Breakdancing.
looking? Where are you
Yeah.
looking at this at?
ESPN.com, Olympics under summer
It
sports.
it says break dancing, or does it say breaking?
It says breakdancing.
Oh, I thought it was okay. I thought it was like breaking or something like that.
Equestrian,
I don't
fencing,
know.
field hockey, golf, gymnastics,
Mm-hmm.
handball, judo, modern pentathlon, rowing, rugby,
Mm-hmm.
sailing, shooting, skateboarding, soccer, sport climbing, surfing, swimming,
Mm-hmm.
table tennis, taekwondo, tennis, triathlon, volleyball, water polo, weightlifting, wrestling. Here's my question. What would be the least impressive gold medal event to win in the Olympics?
Oh,
Badminton,
You come
hands
back
down.
home to Cairo, Georgia, and you won a gold medal in badminton.
I'm telling you.
badminton. Oh,
I'm telling
shout out to
you.
all the badminton players we got.
No offense,
Oh,
but good gracious, that's not an Olympic
Wait, I
sport.
thought
No.
pickleball was an event this year. Is this
I
I
think
don't
that's
know
what
if this
Adam was
is a
saying.
full list.
I don't know
I'm on
either.
the official Olympics. I'm on the official Olympics website. So you have acrobatic gymnastics, alpine skiing, archery, artistic gymnastics, artistic swimming, athletic. I don't know what athletics is. Then fencing, figure skating, flag football. That might be one. Football, freestyle skiing, and what is futsal? What is that?
Futsal. Like you played
Yeah,
footsies with somebody for
FUTSAL. I don't.
futsal. Futsal.
Sailing, shooting, skeleton. What is skeleton? Oh, what the ski
Yeah.
jumping, ski mountaineering, snowboard, speed skating, sports climbing, squash. That looks like pickleball. Surfing, swimming. Hey, I'm a squash gold medalist. No, you're not. Stop it.
Just stop it.
Judo, karate. I'm looking at the whole list here. Luge. I mean, curling, cricket. Now, like the guys that I feel bad for is like the weightlifting guys. Like you're like those are the guys that are like you're actually going out there and doing work. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
So like I think like do they have like a treadmill sport? Like that would be like the thing that you like, hey, I won gold in treadmilling. Like what? What I gotta find out
think
what is
what would
squash.
what would be more embarrassing is if you didn't even place in treadmilling. Like, imagine the people like in badminton who don't even make the podium. I mean, how terrible is that?
Oh, squash is a racket sport, usually played by two people on a rectangular court enclosed by four walls. The floor is made of hardwood with walls in professional competition constructed from safety glass to enable
So
spectators to watch the action.
that's what you
That's
call it.
like, yeah. Why
What
do
do
they
you
call it
call that?
squash? That's weird. I
Oh,
know
that's going to drive me
racquetball. No,
crazy. Racquetball, yes,
yeah.
racquetball.
Squash balls are made of rubber and tend to have little
Yeah,
bats. They need to
that's
be warmed up by being repeatedly hit against walls before the match.
racquetball.
Yeah, it's racquetball. Why do they call it squash? That's dumb.
Breaking is breakdancing.
Is that what that is?
Really? Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, you got basketball 3v3.
Yep.
What's baseball 5? It's just 5-on-5 baseball? What? How does that
Man,
work?
this is getting weird.
yeah, we're just going down this journey here. Handball. Oh yeah, well, we are swimming. Oh, well, I know. Never mind. I know what that is.
Swimming, what is that?
Skeleton. Is this going to skeleton racing involves plummeting headfirst down a steep and treacherous ice track on a
Yeah.
tiny sled. It
Yeah.
is considered the world's first sliding sport. Did you hear how that explained that?
No, I'm trying to get over to the. Okay, now I'm on the actual website. Say
Yeah,
that again now.
That's what I'm. The skeleton?
Yeah,
Skeleton racing involves plummeting headfirst down a steep and treacherous ice track on a tiny sled. It is considered the world's first sliding sport. That's got to be easy. You just go down headfirst and just like if
that's
you
a summer
die, then
sport.
I guess, yeah.
Y'all were
It made its
crucifying
Olympic
me
debut.
because I said that curling was an Olympic game, and y'all were like, "Oh,
Okay.
it's on ice."
Yeah,
Who's y'all?
Well, so yeah, in
I love
Paris, where are they
curling.
gonna do that at? What are they gonna do? Where do you find a treacherous hill on ice to do skeleton?
I don't think that's the summer.
Oh.
Are we sure that's the summer Olympic sport?
It's on the schedule.
I'm not sure that they're not making
I'm
that
seeing
up.
I'm seeing a different schedule than y'all then.
Olympic sports list. Oh, unless I'm looking at all the sports, but
I think you're looking at all of them because there is a. Let's see, where did it go?
Oh, you right. Oh, my bad. All Olympic
Skeleton's
games.
a winter
Olympic
sport.
games.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Okay.
got to be.
That
yeah.
makes sense.
So what are? Okay. Olympic games. I'm just looking. Yeah, skeleton got removed. Table tennis. That's
Mhm.
ping pong.
Ping pong.
Trampoline. There is a summer sport called trampoline. Okay. All right. We got to stop.
Yeah.
gotta
I
stop.
mean, we obviously don't have any clue about the Olympics. So
yeah. But anyways, let us know in the comments what your favorite summer Olympic sport is to watch, or Olympic sport is to watch. Let us know which ones you'll be watching, who you'll be rooting for, and all of that fun stuff. Anyways, go USA. If you're rooting for any other team, it's go USA. Anyways, so with all that being said, we will try to keep you updated the best we can. The next time softball rolls around, again, if you're walking into a restaurant that is buffet or order at the counter, go in line first. Don't save a seat. Don't be selfish. Yeah, just wait.
Stop
Don't be
it.
selfish. And yeah, stop it. Get some help. Always remember too, UFC 304 is this weekend. Watch the Olympics. LeBron James is the GOAT. There is no debating that. You guys
Amen.
have a great rest of your day. We will see you soon. Have a great one. Peace out.